Welcome back, friends. Today we will be comparing and ordering decimals. The date is 11/10/20. Please feel free to pause the video as needed when you're doing your notes. The steps to comparing and ordering decimals are line up the decimals, fill in the placeholders, by that I mean zeros, then solve. The good news is when we get to adding and subtracting decimals, you're going to use exact same steps. So it'll be nice and easy when we get there. Again, those steps are line up the decimals, fill in the placeholders, then solve. And then I'll teach you a kinesthetic that has to do with this when we get back to school. Let's go ahead and try some examples. The first example, we have 48 and 56/100ths, 47 and 3/10ths, and 47 and 21/100ths. Now we use that semicolon in between instead of a normal comma because of the decimals. It gets a little confusing sometimes when you use commas. So we're gonna write this list from greatest to least. That means biggest to smallest. So I'm gonna write greatest, least. And you do have to pay attention to that because sometimes I want least to greatest, sometimes I want greatest to least. It just depends on the question. So here we go. We're gonna start by lining up our decimals. So I'm gonna write 48.56. Now before I even write the next number, I'm gonna line that decimal up directly underneath the other decimal. And then I'm gonna write the 47 on the left side of the decimal, the 3 on the right side. And then again, before I do anything, I'm gonna put that decimal directly in line. And I have 47 on the left, 2, 1 on the right. So the decimals are not lining up on the right or anything like whole numbers would. They line up at the decimal point. The decimal points are all stacked on top of each other. You want to make sure that you're writing kind of neatly and organizing and not cramming numbers or things kind of get all messy. Now, every single column needs a number, even if it's just a 0. That's what I mean by filling the placeholders. So we're good, but oop, you see that blank there? We're gonna fill in a 0. That's our placeholder. Then we can start to compare. When you compare numbers, you wanna always start on the left because that has the most value. 4, 4, 4, all tied. 8, 7, 7. Well, 8 is greater than the 7s, so this one should come first. 48.56, 48 and 56/100ths. All right, let's see what the next biggest one is. 4, 4 tie, 7, 7 tie, 3, 2. 3 is greater than 2. This one comes next. Now when I write it, I'm just gonna write 47 and 3/10ths. I'm not gonna write that 0 because I added that 0 in, so I'm just gonna rewrite it the original way it was written, which would mean that this one must come last, 47 and 21/100ths. Now I usually have those students that are like, but wait, Mrs. Malco, 21 is bigger than 3. Well, that's not really a 3. That's a 30. 30 is bigger than 21. You can't compare that other way unless you had zeros there and make them all the same length. And also I want to point out that really 3 in the tenths is more than 2 in the tenths. 3 dimes is more than 2 dimes, no matter how many pennies are with it. All right, let's try another example. For this next example, we have 5 and 86/100ths, 5 and 9/10ths, 5 and 831,000ths, and 5 and 837,000ths. For this list, let's do it the opposite. Let's go least to greatest, meaning smallest to biggest. So I'm gonna just go ahead and write that down. We are going to start by lining up our decimals. So I'm gonna write 5.86. Then I'm gonna put my decimal in line before I do anything, and then I have a 5 here on the left, 9 on the right. Put my decimal before I do anything. There's a 5 on the left, 8, 3, 1 on the right. Oop, put my decimal, and 5 on the left, 8, 3, 7 on the right. After I line up my decimals, I fill in my placeholders. Every single column needs a number, even if it's just a 0. All right, we're good, we're good. Oop, there's a blank here, so I'll put a 0. And then there's a couple blanks here, so we put even more zeros. And now we can compare, remembering that this time we're doing least first, the smallest first. Start all the way to the left. 5, 5, 5, 5, tie. 8, 9, 8, 8. Well, it's gonna be one of the ones with the 8s. Okay, let's go to the next one. 6, 3, 3. Well, 3s are less than 6, so it's gonna be one of these two. 1, 7, 1 is smaller than 7. This one would be your least or smallest. 5 and 831 thousandths. Okay, let's go for the next smallest. 5, 5, 5, tie. 8, 9, 8. It's one of these 8s. 6, 3. 3 is less than 6. This would be number 2. 5 and 837 thousandths. All right, let's go for the next smallest. 5, 5, tie. 8, 9. 8 is less than 9. That would make this one third. 5 decimal 8, 6. 5 and 86 hundredths, which would make this one last. 5 and 9 tenths. And I didn't write those extra zeros I had added in to do my comparing and show my work. I just wrote it the original way it was written. Now, if you're not using different colors because, say, it's a test and you're not allowed to, you can always make your zeros super dark or super light just so you know you had added them in. All right, let's try another example. I'm gonna scoot this up a bit. All right, so on this list, we have 6 and 855 thousandths, 6 and 58 hundredths, 5 and 9 tenths, and 6 and 85 hundredths. Let's go ahead and do least to greatest again. Least meaning smallest, greatest meaning biggest. So we're gonna start by lining up our decimals. So we have 6 decimal 855. I'm gonna put my decimal, 6 on the left, 5, 8 on the right. Put my decimal, then I had a 5 on the left, a 9 on the right. Put my decimal all in line, stacked nicely on top of each other. 6 on the left, 8, 5 on the right. Now, a good strategy for this is to use graph paper. That way you could really make sure the numbers are lined up nice and neat, and you could even use a whole box for the decimal itself if you'd like. I have seen that strategy and it works nicely. All right, now we're gonna fill in our placeholders. Good, good. Oop, we have a missing number here, so we put a 0. Remember, when we're adding zeros like that, it's okay, because 0 means nothing, so whether it's there or not, we're not changing the meaning of the number. Okay, and we also need some zeros here. And now we can compare. Let's start on the left. 6, 6, 5, 6. Well, 5 is smaller than the 6 is. That one comes first. 5 and 9 tenths. Another strategy you can use if you'd like is you can kind of scratch them off as you use them. So that way you know, okay, we've used that. We don't have to look at it anymore. All right, 6, 6, 6, tie. 8, 5, 8. Well, 5 is smaller than the 8s. So 6 and 58 hundredths comes next. That one came next. All right, well, let's see about the last two. 6, 6, tie. 8, 8, tie. 5, 5, tie. 5, 0. 0 is smaller than the 5. So 6 and 85 hundredths would be next, which only leaves 6 and 855 thousandths is last. All right, we'll do one more example of ordering these numbers. And we're comparing to make the order. We have 0 and 2 tenths, 0 and 19 hundredths, 1 and 4 thousandths, and 0 and 192 thousandths. So again, we line up the decimals. All right, well, 0, decimal, 2. I'm gonna put my decimal before I do anything else. We have a 0 here on the left, 1, 9 on the right. Put my decimal before I do anything else. 1 on the left, 0, 0, 4 on the right. Put my decimal before I do anything else. 0 on the left, 1, 9, 2 on the right. You can see on this one, I kind of spaced out my numbers a little bit more and make it a little neater. Sometimes it helps. All right, I'm gonna fill my placeholders next. And then I can compare. Let's go back to doing greatest to least, biggest to smallest. All right, which one do you think comes first? 0, 0, 1, 0. 1 is bigger than zeros. That one should come first. 1.004, 1 and 4 thousandths. All right, what one comes next? 0, 0, 0, tie. 2, 1, 1. 2 is greater than the ones. That should be next. 0 and 2 tenths. Which one's after that? 0, 0, tie. 1, 1, tie. 9, 9, tie. 2 is greater than 0. That one should come next. 0 and 192 thousandths, which would put this one as last. 0 and 19 hundredths. Now, whether you compare or order, it is the same way. So if we order lots of numbers like this, you do it like that. Same thing with comparing. So let's look at a couple comparing ones just to make sure we're good. So let's compare 387 thousandths and 378 thousandths. It's going to be the exact same method. You line up your decimals, fill in the placeholders, then solve. So decimal 387, line up my decimal, then I write the rest of the number. Okay, 3, 3, tie. 8, 7. This one's the bigger one. So the mouth is going to eat that one. And remember, in 5th grade, we want to make sure that we are saying our symbols correct. That is the greater than sign. A reminder from when we did whole numbers, what we had said. If you make an L with your hand, L for less than, kind of squish it a little bit. That's what the less than sign looks like. When it goes the other way, it's greater than. All right, let's try another comparing example. 149 thousandths. We're going to compare that with 41 hundredths. So we line up the decimals. Make sure they're nice and stacked on top of each other. Fill in your placeholders. Then solve. 1, 4. 4 is more than 1. This one's larger. The mouth eats that one. And that symbol is read less than. 149 thousandths is less than 41 hundredths. Again, make an L, L for less than. There you go. That's what the less than sign looks like. All right, one last example. 0.05. That's 0 and 5 hundredths. We're going to compare that with 0.050 or 0 and 50 thousandths. All right, so let's line up the decimals. Let's fill in our placeholders. And then we can solve. 0, 0, tie, 0, 0, tie, 5, 5, tie, 0, 0, tie. Well, they're all the same. So it is equals. And you might have known that anyway from one of our previous lessons. When we add zeros on the end there, since 0 means nothing, it doesn't really change the meaning of the number. They are the same. All right, guys. Remember, if you need any help, you can go ahead and email me or reach out to me, and I will be here to help you. Looking forward to seeing you guys soon. Bye.